Welcome to Dualshock'd, the Brotherhood of Geeks PlayStation podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brett J. Rasmussen, and over here I got my other co-host.
Hey, that's back.
Yeah, what is up, man?
What's going on?
How you been doing?
I'm doing all right. I really haven't. I guess I'll start off with this in terms of my gameplay habits over the last week or so.
Ooh, gameplay habits.
I haven't really turned on my PlayStation lately. I've been mostly...
It's only because you've been ready for that Super Bowl. But not really.
Yeah, right, yeah. Like, I care so much about that.
Woo! If it was a wrestling pay-per-view, that would be a different story for me. For me, not for you.
My IQ is a little too high to like that. But,
shut up.
But I'm glad you look forward to that.
A-E-Dub. What?
But anyways, honestly, mostly this week I've been pretty much 100% on my PC. Played some Steam games, kind of smattered a whole bunch of different ones. Obviously, I'm still playing WoW. And, of course, one of our news topics here as well, Warcraft 3 The Reforged. I probably put a good, we'll say, 6 hours into that.
That has been, honestly, like... because we're a PlayStation podcast, that's what we focus on. But this has definitely been the talk around the town in the video game industry of just how bad this game is. Like, it's getting like I looked on Metacritic. I believe it got like a 63.
Something like for the critic score and
the critic score. But in the user score, I believe, is now at a 0.5.
Yeah, less than 1. It's been reviewed by...
It's half. It's not even a point. It's half a point. It started when a game first came out. User score was like 1.8, and then it dropped to 1, and then 0.8, then 0.7, and then just...
Yeah, so you think of the idea. Yeah, but I mean, it's just really bad. I think it's kind of... This is another case, and I said this when we spoke about this before. I think this is another case of like a Fallout 76 or a Battlefront 2, where I think the community's being a little too harsh on the game. I don't think the game is a less than a 1. I think a score like a 1 or a 2 out of 10 should be saved for games that are literally broken. Like you can't even finish them. Like that would be like a 1 or a 10 or a 0 out of 10. For this game, I mean, it has a lot of problems right now, but it is at least functional. You can still play the campaign, you can still play the versus mode, everything. I didn't really encounter any of the bugs that people were talking about, so at least from a technical standpoint, no real issues. It's just there's a multitude of problems, between the community guidelines changes to how custom games work, between the lack of the new user interface that we were promised, the lack of the cutscenes that we were supposed to get, the updated cutscenes, and the lack and basically gutting features that were already pre-existing there, with the ranking, the tournament mode. Just really kind of baffling how kind of poorly this was done, especially after a delay.
Oh yeah, and so if we take the game, look at it in a vacuum, I would probably agree with the critic score. Maybe give it a little bit less. If you look at the game by itself in a vacuum, that the game is still Warcraft 3. It's still the game that you and I grew up on. I'm not a PC guy at all, and that is probably
it's a game you still really enjoy.
Yeah. That was the game that I play. I remember I spent months. I never played my PlayStation, my PS2, PS3.
Just immersed in that.
I played that.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the critic score is probably a better reflection of the quality of this game. But that's in this case.
But that's of the game within a vacuum. The problem is that the reason why the game is getting review bombed on the user score isn't honestly because of the game itself. It's because everything that's around it. It's that anything you do in custom matches, custom games is now owned by Blizzard. Everything you make, everything you do, and it's moral rights. That means it's not even we have the copyrights. It's that the moral rights, meaning that we own it, period, no matter what. You cannot
like the IP side of it. Yeah,
now
they completely own it. Yeah.
Mind you, from a business standpoint, I get it, because years ago, Dota was created on the back of Warcraft 3. Dota 2 was became this thing because Dota 1 was just a game mode within the custom matches of Warcraft.
And you can name a bunch of different genres that were, if not birthed on Warcraft 3, the custom, editor, were at least, promoted heavily. Like tower defense games became a thing because of that. I know that was my first exposure to a tower defense was for Warcraft 3.
Yep.
There's so many different genres, it's chase the sheep and stuff like that, where you're hiding from a.
I remember one of my favorites was like you could someone created like this X-Men game, and you could so you're like a little sprite, and you have different models that represent the different X-Men. You could be Wolverine, Cyclops, whatever, and you can choose whichever one, and then it's your team of people, and you have to fight off hordes.
It was such a versatile editor that you could. Risk. I spent so many hours just playing like versions of Risk on there. It was so well done, and people got really creative with it. And their decision to basically shackle this and to essentially kind of discourage people from working hard on it because let's say they have the next great idea, the next Dota that could be swept out from under
exactly
them.
Blizzard can then just go.
It's sort of like, well, why work hard if it's just going to take it over?
Exactly.
They basically instituted communism into the game. It's like
I don't want to go ahead and get into that.
It's like why work hard if it's just all going to be taken away from you?
That's one aspect of it. The trailer, the announcement trailer that we got from back in 2018 of Reforged was that they were going to do dynamic cutscenes, and they used the famous we're going to purge the city.
Yep. It's a downgrade.
No, it's not even a downgrade. They did nothing. They didn't do anything. In Reforged, it's literally the same exact scene from the original Warcraft, just with the new models on the characters. That's it. There's nothing there. They changed nothing about it. The UI, they said that they were going to completely upgrade, rejig, all of it completely the same. Nothing has changed, and that is something. To me, for me, I was looking forward to replaying the campaign. That was something I was very much looking forward to. Playing some custom games, but that's about it. I don't care about ranked or tournament. I don't care about that. That's not something for me. I never even played that back when Warcraft 3 was around.
You missed out, because the melee, as it's called, is probably one of the most entertaining modes.
Again, it wasn't my cup of tea. I just kind of just had liked having fun. I was a filthy casual, I guess.
Okay.
But I was looking forward to replaying the campaign with these new, with not only the new models, but the new dynamic camera angles, where it's not just the still bird eye view and everything. Nothing has changed. They didn't do anything with it.
We were hoping for new pre-rendered cutscenes as well too, because they did an amazing job with the opening to Warcraft 3: Reign of Chaos. That was kind of the announcement trailer for it essentially, and it looks fantastic. It's like, okay, I understand it probably costs a lot of money to make that, but how amazing would it be to see these cutscenes, the Arthas becoming the Lich King, these classic scenes, or just seeing those again, but in with what they can do with a modern pre-rendered.
And maybe it didn't it didn't have to be the whole pre-rendered, because for that's high. That's always that's the opening cinematic to every Blizzard game, and they're always there's so much more detail in those when it comes to the gameplay cinematics in the Blizzard games. Even Diablo 3, it has that pre-rendered cinematic intro,
that's sort of a Blizzard hallmark.
Yes, but what I'm saying is you could have done it in that. But what I'm also saying is in the 2018 trailer, where the camera is right in front of Arthas, and then he has his I honestly cannot. It's Jason, someone else. I can't remember. I barely remember.
Jaina.
Well, look at me being an idiot.
And Uther.
Uther? Okay, well, Jaina and Uther, but the camera's right at it, as if
his girlfriend, Jason.
Jason.
No,
I was thinking Star Wars.
I got you.
But it was going to be more dynamic, and you could see.
I don't care about those scenes so much. What I remember when I think of Warcraft 3 were those pre-rendered scenes.
Yeah.
So those pre-rendered scenes are so memorable. They still hold up really well today. amazingly, 17 years later.
Of course.
It just, imagine though, it's like, we just saw the Diablo 4 very long extended, cinematic, the pre-rendered graphics.
I mean, it's good. Like, but for me, it's
beautiful graphics. Incredibly beautiful graphics. But
I'm excited.
Imagine redoing some of these Warcraft 3 scenes like that. That would be amazing. I would love to see that. There's just so many good scenes to think of in those games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, to wrap it up, disappointing. I feel that they can fix some of the issues through patches. I mean, obviously they're going to add ranked and tournaments and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to see too many changes to the campaign itself. It's
just before I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish and then I'll.
They could fix the whole community guidelines thing by just canceling out that rule, but who knows if they'll do that. So I mean, there are some things they could fix. It's just I think the damage has been done. I'll still play it. I still enjoy it. I got some time in with the versus mode, and it works great for me, especially when the ranked version comes out. I'll really enjoy that. Mm-hmm. But I think, like I said, the bridge has kind of been burned.
Yeah, no, there's just a few more things I just wanted to just get out there also. It's like, so it was the cinematics, it was the community guidelines. It's also we even talked about this earlier, that the models, they look great, but it feels like the soul has been sucked out of the characters with these new models. I remember like looking at like Arthas, or even who's the main orc? The main character. Thrall, thank you.
I can field any Warcraft question.
I'm aware of that. I should know these, but I'm a little bit rusty.
And I would say I really like the new the models.
The models
amazing.
look good, but but there was something about the originals. I was using this analogy explaining it to you. It's like an actor who does a scene, and then the director calls cut, and then he goes, okay. And that was a perfect scene. It was great. Awesome. Yay, you. Now, I need you to go ahead and do that same scene with a mask and a whole new like wardrobe on you, and it's heavier. You can still have full movement.
Maybe it looks cool, but it's
it
not
looks
quite
cool.
the
Yeah,
same.
but now but it's heavier. It's a heavier wardrobe that you have to have on you now. So
it affects the performance.
Exactly. Yeah. So now that you have this mask, like the actor has to go ahead and use the mask and use the new wardrobe. It still has to execute the same exact moves as before, but you have to do it a little bit differently.
I think it was really telling that after the first 2 or 3 versus games I played, I actually went back to the classic graphics. There's an option to go from Reforged back to the classic graphics, which look basically the same as it always used to do. And I did that, and I just had a better experience. I actually played better because it was just easier. I don't know, maybe my brain just isn't used to it, but it's easier to tell apart units and buildings, and when there's the big chaos of a large battle, it just seems like it was easier for me to kind of see where everything was when I had the classic graphics on as opposed to the Reforged graphics. Yeah. I'm sure the Reforged graphics will probably be better for like the campaign where it's less pressure. You don't have other players going after you.
Yeah, but as I said before, it just feels like there was something about the
soul and soulless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the other thing is, this is something like, so if you don't like Reforged, okay, I'll just go ahead and I'll just dust off my old Warcraft 3 and throw it in. Well, you can't. You can throw it in, but now that code is now merged with Reforged. So now you actually have to, I could be wrong about this. I do know that with the old Warcraft 3, now the online, like everything about Reforged has now
integrated them together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now all of the problems that Reforged has is now been picked up by the original, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's kind of goofy. I mean, I kind of understand why they did it, because I think they didn't want to splinter the communities, because you still had an active Warcraft 3 community. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to splinter that from Reforged, so I kind of get why they did that. It seems like, so once again, it kind of highlights the issues of why remove ranked, why remove tournament, delay the game a little bit.
I feel that it's more because of those guidelines. I feel that it's more of like, if like people didn't like Reforged, I could go, well, I'll just go ahead and play Warcraft 3. I'll just make whatever custom game I want and have no problems. Nope, like, together. It
just seems like such a silly guideline, because it's like, if you want to go make, go and, I mean, there's so many different, it's never been easier to make a game than now. Mm-hmm. There's so many engines and things available that you can get for almost nothing. Mm-hmm. It just seems weird to kind of put these chains on it.
Honestly, this, like, I as the game itself, but honestly, I do agree more with the Metacritic score. Like,
I think that the user score is a overreaction, and I understand it. I understand it. It's kind of an emotional thing. I get it, but I think when things like that, I think one of the strengths I have as kind of a reviewer to some degree is when I see these situations, I look at them a little bit more objectively. It was like the Fallout 76 thing. And I kind of wear this sort of as an ironic nod.
I know.
It's an ironic nod to that.
I know.
I'm not saying Fallout 76 was a great game. I'm just saying it's just sort of a nod to that. And same with the Battlefront 2. And then there's been other circumstances throughout.
Well, that's why I was a little bit worried about. Well, that's why I was a little bit worried about you, like, because I know you Warcraft. Like, you and I went to go see like the premiere of Warcraft at our local movie theater here. You and I went to go see that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you and I we liked it. We thought it was fun. We had our problems with it, but like it was great. It was fun.
And for me, I think the most important thing is what when I talk to somebody about games, you ask them about games, and I mean there's a tendency for us to kind of fanboy out and kind of be emotionally attached to franchises.
Yeah, for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, God of War is my favorite PlayStation exclusive franchise. Of course, I could just lean into it and go, oh yeah, of course, 5 out of 5. But I also had to look at it objectively, and it was an absolutely perfect game. And that's kind of what I would ask somebody too. Is like, okay, what is your favorite game? But my follow-up question always is why. Mm-hmm. That's great. You love God of War. That's great. You love Assassin's Creed. Yeah,
But my next question is, okay, that's great. You like those things, but can you tell me why you like
exactly
those things?
Even for me, I love Assassin's Creed, but Odyssey was because it's not a good Assassin's Creed game. It's a good game, but it's not a good Assassin's Creed.
It's okay. Just because you can enjoy something and still critique it at the same time. Mm-hmm. You don't have to love everything about a game.
But I do think, just before we close the thoughts, because I want to get into News of the Nation.
Definitely.
For this, honestly, I do agree with the user score. I understand where the user score is coming from. It's not because of the game itself. If you take the game in a vacuum, 2.5 out of 5, 3 out of 5 at best, but honestly, 2 out of 5.
Do you agree more with the critic score?
No.
Or somewhere in between.
It's honestly more in between. I'm not a fan of review bombing of just going well, screw this game because of what everyone says.
I don't think anyone could say this is a 0.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the combination of everything, and honestly, it's people are upset because this is such a beloved franchise, and I think it's just a whirling storm of just what Blizzard has done. It's Diablo Immortal, it's the BlizzCon controversy, and now this. It's just a complete whirling storm of and.
But the problem with that mentality though is we're reviewing a game, we're not reviewing a company.
I know, but I know. And look, I don't agree with this. I'm upset about this game too. I'm definitely more well, I guess I'm not gonna play it. It's not worth my time. I'm just playing Warcraft 3. Nothing has changed. Nothing is new. Ooh, new models. Woo! Whatever. I'll go ahead and dust off my Warcraft 3 if I can. But I honestly side more with the users, but I can see why the critic score is 63 or 50 or whatever it would be. I can see that, but I do not like the soul of the characters are gone.
I think it would have been more well received if they would have launched it with the ladder and tournament still intact, and if they didn't launch with that goofy rule about the copywriting custom games.
Or just live up to the promises you made. Just live up to the promises.
No company does that anymore,
though. I don't care.
The downgrade is that's like every company. Ubisoft,
no, it's not.
Ubisoft invented that. I mean, it's. I mean, what game comes out now that looks?
I don't know. And that you're not wrong, because Activision goes ahead and puts out a good game like CTR, but then says, "Oh, we're not going to put in microtransactions," and then they do. Only a few weeks out after it, they do it with Call of Duty. EA has been putting microtransaction crap into their games, hence Battlefront 2. Ubisoft, yes, you're not wrong. With Watch Dogs 1, you had the reveal trailer for that, and which looked really good, and that's why people were excited. And then you got the original Watch Dogs, which did not live up to the same thing. I'm sick and tired of these video game companies of not living up to the promises that I don't understand why they can get away with this. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's why games like God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Uncharted 4, and I know I'm speaking of exclusive, but these are all games that, like, this is what you're going to be looking at, and then they deliver. Those games are so rare, and they get applauded for. Now, mind you, they deserve it. But I wish that it wasn't such a rarity. I'm sick and tired of companies feeling that they can go ahead and just cut, snip, and we need to hit deadline and that. I understand development is a hard thing to kind of wrap our minds around. It's hard. Again, we talked about it in one of our past episodes of Cory Barlog, where the fans got mad that Cyberpunk got delayed, and Cory Barlog tweeted about, like, it's hard. I get it, but I don't know. It's...
I understand the frustration. I do, and I hope that through patches that this game becomes better, because it's such a classic. It's such a staple of the real time strategy genre. It's a game that's near and dear to both of our hearts. So it's disappointing. It's another mark in a long line of disappointments from Blizzard. Like I said, for me, Blizzard really has not been the same. It's one of those companies that.
It's becoming more Activision. It's because it's been it's honestly been like that. It feels very much like an Activision.
It's more than just the money portion of it. It's also the culture portion of it. That's become.
That's what I mean, though. It's
not just from like I said, from a greedy standpoint, but just from some of the decisions and choices they've made that I disagree with. But anyways, I guess kind of moving on. It's an important news topic though, because it's it's everywhere this week.
Exactly, and that's why that's why I kind of want to talk about it now, which is fine. Just what I've been playing. I'm playing the Kingdom Hearts Remind DLC.
I don't care what you're playing.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
Of course you don't mind the Kingdom Hearts.
No, I was looking on your trophy thing here. Because so I mean, I saw you're playing that, so just kind of going for that kind of.
I'm playing through the DLC. I finished the Remind DLC. It was fine. I got to see. It was like the final cut of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's pretty much you replay through the ending part of the game, which was fine. You get to play as different characters. You get to play as Riku and Kairi and Mickey, which was fine. But it didn't really add on to the story that much. Like, there were they kind of closed some loopholes, but there are still very much a few other loopholes that are still wide open. And then they have, after that, they have the limit cut, which is like, you pretty much fight the secret bosses, but there's like, I believe 10 or 13 of them, which is
at least it sounds like there's a lot of content.
I bought the $40 one that comes with the concert. I love the concert. Like, that was the whole reason why I bought that, where it's just in the game. You can just Kingdom Hearts did a tour around the world, and they did that. So yeah. Should we go ahead and get started?
Sure. Let's get into it.
Great. All right. Let's begin. News of the nation.
You're never gonna get me to do that.
No, I'm the one. I don't know. Maybe one time. I'll get you to do it. No. One time. All right. Let's go ahead and begin. So, first topic. The Silent Hill series may be getting a quote soft reboot with 2 new games. A report says. This is coming from IGN. 2 new Silent Hill games are in the works, according to a new report from reliable leaker from Eurogamer. So Eurogamer was the original source, and this is coming from IGN. Twitter user Aesthetic Gamer was the first to drop the news report. And this is what he said in his tweet. So I'm going to pull this up. In his tweet, he says, in other news, while I'm dropping this stuff off, and I think I can talk about this, I'll mention there is a couple new Silent Hill games in the works. Konami about 2 years ago reached out to various developers to pitch ideas for 2 Silent Hill games. One, a soft reboot of the franchise. The other, an episodic Telltale/Until Dawn style game to go alongside the reboot. I don't know anything more than that, though. But I sure do hope Konami's given it the appropriate budget and found the right developer to make those games succeed. This is just a guess, but I'd say there's a high chance one or both of these titles may be revealed this year, but we'll see. I don't actually know their plans or anything about these games other than the extents, though. I don't know much about the inner workings of Konami. So that's what the tweet is from. So this is also he has leaked out a few other things.
So it is a leak, but it's a fairly reliable
yes, like he has leaked out other things. So let me go ahead and get through. Aesthetic Gamer closed out the comments saying that he doesn't know anything more about the Silent Hill games, that they exist. One leaker's information wouldn't be much to go on, but other points point to developments that bolster this. Silent Hill 2 art director Mashiro Ito said that he's working on a, quote, title core member. I hope the title won't be canceled. And by saying that, the sentence, I hope it won't be canceled, that sounds like PT. Because PT was developed by Konami, and that was going to be Kojima's Silent Hill game. But then I
playable trash. Yeah, I remember
Shut
that
up.
game. Yeah.
Shut up. You can go ahead and say that, but the PT was great.
It's one of the most overrated games, I think, of the last 10 years. It's up there with Last of Us. If I would make like a top 5 overrated games of the last decade, it'd probably be number 2 at least.
And Last of Us is number 1.
Easily.
You can go ahead.
You can
go ahead and shut up, Spectre. You're just wrong, so you can go ahead and just be wrong. That's fine. So it's and then the article kind of continues going on about how Konami told PC Games that the company is considering ways to provide the next title, and IGN confirmed that a Konami spokesman, further clarifying that Konami is continually evaluating our entire IP portfolio for future development consideration. So it's pretty much just saying that from this leaker, or from Aesthetic Gamer, which he has leaked other things in the past, and kind of it's him plus the art director and a few other kind of tidbits. People are trying to kind of piece it together. Yeah. You're the Silent Hill guy. What do you think?
I don't care. I couldn't care less about this. To me, Silent Hill as a series has been gone for at least 15 years now.
So if they announce a Silent, if this is true, and at E3 we hear a Silent Hill game, you're just gonna go, I don't care.
Probably, pretty much, I don't care, unless it is a well done remaster of Silent Hill 1 through 3, or even Silent Hill 4, or something all in one package like that. Then I'd be actually kind of interested in that. But for me, Silent Hill as a series really was encapsulated in Silent Hill 1 through 3. Silent Hill 4 had some good ideas, and then everything after that was utter garbage. It's been handled by a number of different developers, and no one could really recreate that magic. Silent Hill was really like it was a product of Team Silent. It was a group of developers in Japan. It was lightning in a bottle. I don't think we're ever going to see anything quite like that again. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay for a series to end. We don't need to have a sequel to everything. And what happened with Silent Hill is after Silent Hill 1 through 3, you had just a cavalcade of a whole bunch of different games, 2 movies, comic books, all this crap that came out, and all of it was utter trash that you should completely avoid.
I mean, I don't know. I don't follow Silent Hill, but whatever.
But anyways, once it left the original developers' hands, it really just it's just completely, they could never recapture what made that series good. It felt I mean, it went to Western developers, and they had their own kind of spin on it. It just never really worked. They weren't well received. And they tried. I give them credit for trying, but it's kind of like someone painting a masterpiece. This Sistine Chapel, and you're making some poor crude copy of that. Essentially, that's what they've been doing for years and years and years. It's kind of surprising to see Konami really even considering this, because they've basically become kind of a pachinko machine.
Yeah, they got out of the video games.
They sort of got out of video games, which is tragic because they hold on to all these big IPs. Castlevania.
What was it? The most
Metal Gear they own.
Yeah, and they did their most recent game was Contra Rogue Core, which is utter complete. Well, that game is utter and complete garbage. So like.
Yeah, so it's I guess I mean, of course I'm going to check it out just because I'll be I just as I went through and played the other Silent Hill games after 1 through 3 and 4. Well, 4 is an honorable mention. I would count 4 as one of the good ones.
Yeah.
But really, I don't think you're ever, unless you somehow got the original team all back together. I just don't really have any enthusiasm for this franchise anymore. Maybe eventually, I mean, I guess I'll always give it the chance that maybe some new team of developers will magic will strike again, and they'll actually create something that's sort of a spiritual successor to it. But I think we just need to let this franchise be and move on, and maybe create something kind of like it, something new.
I mean, so a lot of people, I would probably say a lot of people said that about Resident Evil after Resident Evil 6, where like, all right, well, this is complete garbage. Like, I'm done. I don't care about Resident Evil. And then all of a sudden, Resident Evil 7 comes out. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and it's great. It's a fantastic game. So if Silent Hill kind of is able to kind of pick itself up and kind of redo itself, maybe it's not even, like Silent Hill 1 or 2. It's kind of just this new thing. That's kind of what PT felt like. And I know I feel that you didn't like it because of Kojima's. He was a part of this. So I don't know if that's partially the reason why you're like, I don't like PT.
I just thought PT was dull. I thought it was a boring,
Mind you, it was a demo, so like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. But if that was supposed to be a sign or of things to come, I was not impressed by it. I think that I've seen indie games that create a more effective atmosphere than that. So, but yeah, no, I just don't think we're gonna see. I'm actually one of the few that's glad that Silent Hills got canceled. I don't think we need anything more in this franchise. Let it be, and create something new. Do something, maybe something that's kind of inspired by it, but do something new, do something original. We don't need to keep digging up this corpse over and over again.
All right, well then let's move on. Next topic is that we got pretty much another trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's very much a new one. And the trailer confirms returning and possible new elements for the game. And it's billed as the theme song reveal. That's what the trailer is, and it opens with Cloud pretty much talking. Again, I've actually never played Final Fantasy VII. I think it's I don't remember, but pretty much.
I'm familiar with it. I played through it once, but I'm not what you would call a fan.
Yeah. So pretty much, we already knew that Cloud's cross-dressing sequence would be included.
I know you were concerned about that.
No, I wasn't actually. A lot of my friends were. I was just like, oh, that's here? Okay. And his trip to Honeybee Inn, we also were shown party member Red 13, not to mention getting looks at the likes of Professor Hojo, Reeve Tootsie, I think I said that right. I probably said that wrong. Scarlet, complete with human footstool, and a new character to the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Roche. So, and then we got to see the Leviathan summon, a Chocobo and Moogle summon, and just a bunch of stuff in this new trailer. Did you see this trailer?
No.
For Final Fantasy? Okay.
I mean, like I said, I am going to pick it up and play it. It's mostly something that I'm getting because my girlfriend's really into it. So we'll go through it together. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. I've given it plenty of opportunities. I've said this many times. So I've given it plenty of opportunities. I'm just not a fan of the series. So
I mean, I've never played.
I'm glad for those that like it, though, that they are kind of keeping these things that were. I guess that was actually one of my first questions, because there's a lot of weird stuff in Final Fantasy VII, like there's a whole extended section with the cross dressing.
Yep.
I remember playing that. It's like I'm kind of thinking and scratching my head, like, are they going to put stuff like this in the remake? But I guess they want to be faithful to it.
It's in the trailer. Like, they go ahead and like. I don't remember.
It's a really goofy scene from what I remember.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But I give it credit, though, that the game does at least have some levity to it. It doesn't take itself that seriously. So to its credit,
I mean, again, for me, this is very much like, this is Apex Final Fantasy. This is the Final Fantasy that everyone speaks of. That's why I'm looking forward to it. I know there are very much tons of fans who like, this is the game.
Do you plan on playing it, though?
Yes, of course. We're reviewing it. Yes, okay. Of course we are. So, yeah, I mean, it's just new elements have been shown. It's just more and more stuff, and people are excited for. Let's move on. Next topic is the February's free PlayStation Plus games of 2020. The free games that we're going to be getting is the Bioshock Collection, Sims 4, and Firewall Zero Hour. So pretty much you're going to be getting the Bioshock the Collection, so you get Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite with all of its DLC. Sims 4, along with the PlayStation VR game Firewall Zero Hour, which is actually really fun. It's a really fun shooter on the VR.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, this was a this just in terms of the value for this month. I'm very surprised. A couple of AAA games, a VR title added on top. An unusually strong month. I have my critiques of BioShock. I think BioShock 1, from a gameplay standpoint, is fantastic. I really enjoyed playing through that. I think the story was pretty bad, but I think the gameplay is top notch. A lot of fun. BioShock 2 being a downgrade, and BioShock Infinite being basically garbage. So you get at least 1.5 good games right there. Mm-hmm. Sims is always just a fun game to goof around in. So, I mean, really a solid month. And a VR title sprinkled on top.
Yeah.
So, surprisingly strong month.
I think, honestly, and this is coming from the PlayStation blog. BioShock, my brother cannot stop talking about BioShock. That's one of his favorite franchises. And Sims 4, it's actually, according to the PlayStation blog, Sims 4 is celebrating its 20th birthday in February. So because of that, you get Sims 4 as a free game in Plus. And then you get this free VR game, which what I was about to say is that, honestly, I think that this should become the norm every month. I think it's that you get 2 free, good, high-end PS4 games, and then you get a free VR game.
I always say free.
Whatever. You have to keep playing, so it's not free.
It's one of the key sticking points I have against consoles, though. And I mean, months like this are good, but I still say if you gave me the choice between, random games every month and just give me $60 and a good sale, I'd rather take the $60 in a sale. So.
Well, still.
But still, not a bad month.
Well, again, this is but what I'm saying is I think we should we lost 4, I think it was 6 games. Because remember, last year,
it used to be 6
April,
games.
6 games, yeah. 2 PS4, 2 PS3, and 2 Vitas. And then a lot of them were cross-buy. A lot of them. So, if you got it on PS3, you could get it for the Vita. So you were actually adding games on.
I imagine what we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens when the PlayStation 5 is announced. But yeah. I could see a scenario where they have 2 new PlayStation 5 games, and then so we might go back to the format of having 4.
I hope so. Yeah. I really hope so, because I know they said we need to get rid of those so that way we could spend more money to get the bigger end ones. I'm like, okay, but you gave us more, I don't know. Maybe it's quality over quantity, but I feel like that just nothing. You were still giving us games like NBA 17 and The Last of Us and the Nathan Drake collection before you got rid of PS3.
Yeah.
And so I mean, But these 3 are really good, and we always recommend, regardless if you are going to play them or not, just add them to your library. Just go ahead and just purchase them, add them, because as long as you have Plus, you get access to them. If you want to come back to them or whatever, you have them. After the month, they're gone, and then you would have to buy them. That's why every single month, regardless if you care about them or not, just add them to your library, and then you can download them whenever you want. So, yeah.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next topic. So this is the PS5 and the Xbox Series X power, quote, is substantially greater than current gen consoles. I'm going to pull this up right here. This comes from Games Radar. Pretty much, and this comes from a conference call with EA.
I like how the Xbox looks like the monolith from 2001 there.
Well, that's because that's what they did in the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer, so.
You were here for the Game Awards.
I don't remember the trailer.
Oh my god!
But I like the still image like that.
Okay, well, anyway, EA from Games Radar. EA is apparently impressed with what they have seen from the next gen consoles, as the company recently called the PS5 and the Series X substantially more powerful than the current gen consoles. Quote: "The power of the new consoles is going to be substantially greater than existing consoles," said EA CFO Blake Jorgensen during an investor call to IGN. "We can do a lot more with the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Things we're doing will blow people's minds. Jorgensen was talking about EA's plans for the next-gen hardware when he made the comments and hyped the future, quote, innovation from EA and other video game companies. Apparently, games will continue to evolve and entirely new genres will be born. And then it talks about how they're coming out in the holiday.
So not a lot of information. This is just kind of a puff piece. But it's it's kind of like a no duh. I mean, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, I mean, how old are those systems now? It's like, I would hope that they're, and they were pretty underpowered to begin with, so I would hope that they're substantial. These new consoles are substantially more powerful. I think it's just kind of an obvious thing.
But I think they're talking graphically. Like, there have been researchers who have said that graphically, we can't really, it's harder to jump graphically from where the PS4 is to the next gen consoles. Like, our eyes won't be able to see that. So now, instead of graphically, you know how like when we went from PS1 to PS2, PS2 to PS3, 3 to 4, there were big graphical leaps. Like, they look so different to each other. But now it's going to kind of start blending together. It's not going to be graphically different unless you have like the biggest bestest TV and the biggest bestest monitor or whatever it would be to match it. I pulled up the EA or the IGN article just to get a little bit more. And pretty much they are saying like the same thing. And I do have one. It kind of speaks on another topic where I'm going to bring up next or very soon. But yeah, like really, like they said, oh, it's going to beat out the current gen consoles, and I'm like, of course they are. Like, yes. But like, what I'm surprised about is he's talking about graphically. He's talking about it's going to blow their minds. I'm like,
that's all well and good. Let's see what the actual specs are when the systems are actually fully revealed. I mean, for now, this is just kind of a puff piece.
We do technically have the specs. Like,
no, we don't. We don't have anything official.
From the Wired article. The Wired article that we got from the PS5. That's good. It's not everything, but it is some.
For until we actually have the full reveal, full announcement, then we can actually judge this as compared to each other and how much of a power jump it will be. They do this every generation. That's why I'm just kind of like, oh, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's like always like, oh, this next thing is gonna the PlayStation 4 is gonna be better than sex, and then the PS3 is gonna have then it's just they do this every generation.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has sold around 8 million units and is projecting to hit 10 million units. Through EA and publishers, like it may be leaning into more games with the ongoing content and live services, the company has now a shining example of the power of the single-player game in Jedi Fallen Order. This is coming from GameIndustry.biz. During its Q3 earnings call with investors following the company's quarterly financial results, the publisher announced that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order had sold, quote, beyond our projection for the quarter, and later reiterated the result by saying it, quote, hit the high end of its expected sales. What were those projections? Originally, it was between 6 to 8 million. While EA didn't give an official sales figure for the game, that does mean that Jedi Fallen Order has sold somewhere in the vicinity of the 8 million copies since its launch. Additionally, CFO and COO Blake Jorgensen upped the company's projections for the game, saying that EA anticipates Fallen Order would reach the 10 million unit milestone by the end of the current quarter, which would be Q4, which ends in March. So he has pretty much another 2 months, because it's the beginning of February right now. So he has about 2 months to do that. So what do you think? What do you think? Are you looking up something right now?
No, I was just double checking something. But yeah, no. Very impressive sales. I mean, like I said, I still think the game is very. It's very milquetoast. It's very mediocre. I had a good time with it. I think the game is worth looking into. It's what's this under, like, if you get on a good sale for under $30 or so. I would probably if I got really bored, go through it again. I mean, it's a good feel good kind of turn your brain off type of open world game, semi-open world game. and those games are good every once in a while because sometimes it's just like it's sort of like where I'm at right now, where I just don't know what to play, and what's the easiest thing. I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit when we get the trophies, but like, what's the easiest thing to kind of just pick up and play? Just a simple open world game, and you can just play, however you want. You don't have to worry about following a list or whatever. So I think from that perspective, it's it's a good piece of entertainment.
Yeah,
it's very forgettable. I was making this comparison the other day. It's like I couldn't tell you a name of like a single character in that game now. Even after I just played it like literally a week or two ago. I couldn't tell you a name of any character in that game at this point. But I can remember the name of a sword from a 17-year-old game. With Warcraft, so I was making a comparison to a friend.
Well, Warcraft is like your favorite.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of funny. Like it kind of shows how forgettable it is in a lot of ways. Not a bad game, not a great game. Somewhere right in the middle. If you're looking for something very bland, I mean, every once in a while you just got to have some, just some bland milquetoast games just to kind of fill in between the good stuff.
Look, with Jedi Fallen Order, I wouldn't say that it's bland. But I wouldn't say I've played better Star Wars games in the past. But is it still worth your time playing and buying? Oh, most definitely. What makes me so happy about hearing this is that this proves EA wrong. Period. Like, Blake Jorgensen, the head of EA, has been saying since like 2018, like he's been saying this for a very long time, that single-player games are dead. No one cares about them. That's not what is best for business. It's the live players want to be online and play multiplayer games and be able to have an ongoing service of.
And for the most part, they do. But I mean, this game was very successful. But I mean, I think that whole statement, that's the least of EA's sins. I mean,
they have it's just one of the many problems that EA has. Look, all I'm saying is like I am happy that this game is succeeding because then EA may finally make some good single player games. Like I hope that Dragon Age doesn't have the bullcrap microtransaction whatever crap because BioWare is so good at making single player story driven games, but EA goes ahead and tells them to make games like Anthem, and then they force them.
But you're talking about like old BioWare. See, that kind of echoes back to the Silent Hill thing. BioWare, as the BioWare that made the games that you loved, is gone. It's not. The band is broken up. They're not getting back together.
You're not wrong.
So you might as well treat BioWare as a new company at this point, as a new developer.
I just want good EA games. I remember back in the day where I think love the EA games. I love the
best you can hope for is HD remasters, which they are doing some. Like Command and Conquer, for example, is getting a kind of an HD sort of remaster, which is great.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the best you can hope for, and then occasionally you get a mediocre game like this.
Well, I mean, we did say that there's going to be a game that's based in the Knights of the Old Republic time, whether it's a remaster of KOTOR 1. Or KOTOR 1/2, or if it's a whole new game. Like
if we got a remaster of those, that's great.
I just want EA to make good games because they can do it. They can do it. Apex is good. Titanfall 2 is critically good. EA sent that game off to die because they sandwiched it in between Call of Duty and Battlefield. So they just sent that game off to die because of the release date. They didn't care about that game. And it's a good game. All I'm saying is, Respawn has proven that if you let developers make games without EA or the publisher just go make sure you put in microtransactions, make sure you do this, and make sure we cannot delay it at all, ever, period, whatever. You have to make it by this date. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just let developers make the game. They know what they're doing. Just let them do their job. That's why... Hearing this, I am applauding Respawn for making. Is it a fantastic game? No. For me, it was definitely one of the better games I played in 2019. But because it kind of,
I'm still I keep harping on the point, but I'm still baffled that they on the choice for the main character. I figured they would have had some like a woman or like a maybe we have our first trans Jedi. But I'm just baffled. I can't remember any character's name in that game to save my life, but I'm baffled by that.
I can never take you anywhere out in public.
You have to, like I said, you have to admit it is surprising. It is surprising. If you were to predict what the next main character for an EA game was,
I don't care. That's I don't know why you're harping on this.
Because
I just don't care. It's not. It's just that's the character they made. That's who they casted.
There had to be
Cameron Monaghan is. Who cares? I don't give a crap about that.
There had to be some kind of like market research.
Dude, it doesn't matter for that. The only reason I feel like that you just hate that because of Battlefield 5, because Battlefield has always been about like being historically accurate, and they go ahead and have the woman with the one arm, which when you explained it to me, I was like, oh yeah, that does seem odd. But that's because of the of DICE.
Not even just the one arm thing, just woman. Full stop.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but like
that makes it even more goofy with the one arm.
But whatever. But the reason why though, I'm like, oh well, yeah, that is odd. I don't get that. That does sound dumb. Is because of that DICE is going. We are trying to be historically accurate, and they're
not. They're not. They are trying. They're trying to push an agenda, and they admitted that. They came out and did it. They had a whole mural. You saw this where they basically were. Kind of mocking or making fun of the player base that was critical of this. They actually had a full mural on a wall at one of their events that said, like, hashtag not my battlefield. They were literally mocking their player base for a while. So it's just amazing. It's going to take, honestly, for me to pick up another game from DICE at this point is going to take a miracle almost. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be hard to come back from that.
I never take you anywhere out in public.
It was hard for me to even justify getting Fallen Order just because of the publisher buying it with EA. It was really hard for me to justify that. I'm glad I played it though. In summation, I'm glad I played it. If there was a sequel, I may check that out, but I definitely would wait for a sale.
I think you should buy it. You should buy it right now. I think it's completely worth it because I was very happy with it. All right, and then on to our next topic. This is actually a really fun one. But someone has remade The Last of Us Part 2 as a PS1 game. Pretty much... let's see. This is coming from IGN. It's pretty much someone... did this on the Dreams. Right now, Dreams is a game that's being made by Media Molecule, and it's pretty much just you can create whatever you want. It's in beta. The game does come out on February 14th. But this is just something really cool. This is created and posted to YouTube by Barely Regal, who also did a remake of Cyberpunk 2077 as a PS1
that's such
game.
A cringy name. Like every time I think like any of my names are cringy when I make usernames, like that's hard to top that.
Whatever. I saw this video and I was like, wow, this just looks like it's in the PS1 game. It's you put subtitles and stuff. Like it is definitely fan made, but like Neil Druckmann even retweeted it and he just applauded it and it looked great. Did you see this at all?
I just saw the screenshot there. I do like the kind of the concept of demakes, taking these games and kind of making like a sort of a trimmed down version, like a what if scenario. Like what if there was a Super Nintendo version of Halo or something like that. It's kind of a fun thought experiment. So I like the idea of this.
It's what is so cool because I watched this and it's pretty much like it's Ellie in the suburbs and you're kind of just trying to get through the clickers and that kind of thing, and they're just kind of like polygram, the polygram. Did I say that right? Or
Polygon.
Thank you. Polygon style of animation. I don't know why I said polygram. Apparently I can word poorly today.
I
cannot say words and stuff. Oh the god!
But I hope. If anything, obviously I don't care about the Last of Us part of this, but it does get me somewhat excited for Dreams then, because I like this kind of genre. I'm actually one of the games I'm playing through right now. It's only on PC on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Dusk. It's a modern, it was made within the last year or so, but it's a like a 90s shooter. It's like it's something that would be at home on like a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It has the same kind of graphical style as that. Sort of like callbacks to like Duke Nukem and something like that time. And it's a ton of fun or like Turok and stuff like that. It's a ton of fun to play through. It's sort of like a game that was made recently, but it's kind of like I could see this coming out in 1999. And those are kind of fun. They're sort of a burst of nostalgia. And it's kind of it does kind of say that there is maybe in this pursuit of graphics and better, maybe something was lost in the translation. So I think it's a cool idea.
I highly recommend looking up just like Dreams. There have been so many cool things, not just from him making these like remakes of like 2077 and Last of Us, but there's just so much cool stuff people have made in Dreams, which is honestly baffling. Like this game Dreams has been announced since the announcement of the PS4, and it's finally like coming out. It's been in beta, but now
it seems like the ultimate evolution of what Media Molecule is kind of known for. With like, because they did Little Big Planet, it's all about kind of making your own thing, and now it's like, well, just make your own game.
Yeah.
So sounds really cool. I like the idea of making game development. I mean, it's something that I was always kind of interested in. I like the idea of making game development something that's more accessible.
Yeah.
Because at least when I was growing up, it was kind of something that was so arcane and like you couldn't really get into it so easily. Now it's like, I think if I was growing up and now I was much younger, maybe I would actually consider getting into it because it's just more accessible.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's great. I'm excuse me. I'm looking forward to Dreams, and yeah, like just how much you can create in that is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, should we get on to our main topic?
I believe we should.
Great, awesome. Let's go into our PlayStation conversation.
PlayStation.
Alrighty then. So, it's kind of been slow, I guess. Really, the only kind of big video game news has been kind of taking over is Warcraft.
I would say this is kind of the calm before the storm. It's we're going to have a ton of news this year. This is probably when the 2020 is going to be a pivotal year in gaming because so much is going to happen. 2 new systems are launching. Just a lot is going on.
Yep.
But not yet.
Not yet.
So we don't have really even official word on when events are going to happen. So it's sort of the slow time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I thought would be really fun for us is kind of talk about trophies, because we talk about trophies. We mention it when we're like discussing games and stuff, and that's because you and I are big trophy hunters.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of talk about like trophy lists. What have been some of our easier lists? What have been some of our harder lists? What platinums are we very proud of having? Just kind of, I wanted to talk about trophies and just as a whole, why we're trophy hunters, what makes us trophy hunters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess the preamble I would have is, first, I think we both acknowledge that trophies, achievements, etc., in and of themselves, we understand that there's no like value to them. There is a value to them, but I think it kind of depends on the individual player. For me, I enjoy them as kind of a mark of my progress through games.
Yeah.
I enjoy them as something that can kind of challenge me, or and they kind of give a sense of replay value to a game that otherwise would be very short. And so that's kind of all the stuff that affects me directly. Like if trophies were something that only I could see, or achievements were something that only I could ever see and no one else could see that on my profile, I would still go for them because I care about them for that element of it. Yeah. But from a social standpoint, from a connected gaming standpoint, it is kind of neat to look at someone's profile and you kind of get a sort of a window into what they play and what kind of gamer they are.
Yeah.
Like when I look at like your profile, I kind of see what games you're into, and it's like, wow, he spent a lot of time playing this, or he has all the games in this series down. Like that kind of tells me something about you as a player. So there is some value to it. A lot of people just completely ignore trophies and achievements, and that's totally fine. It's an optional thing. It's sort of like going back to a time before all this happened, back in the era of before 2006 or so when achievements became a thing. Games used to have the idea of having collectibles and you'd 100% a game. Yeah. And there was no official achievement system, but I was one of those players that, like, when I played, like, Zelda Ocarina of Time or something like that, I wanted to get all my upgrades. I wanted to get all the, the stuff. Or when I played Majora's Mask, I wanted to getting all the masks and stuff like that. So there is that type of gamer, I think, that we fall into the category of that really likes to play a game to its full extent. And get everything there and kind of explore everything that's available within the game world. There's plenty of people that just like, okay, give me the story, fly through it, and that's it. Let me move on to the next thing. But we're definitely the type that like to get kind of immersed in the world of a game, and we like to kind of see everything the developers have to offer with it. So I think that's a value of the trophies and stuff.
I'm very much a completionist, and it's very much like I want to get the trophies because just seeing the platinum, I love having the platinums. Because of it's that sense of I finished it. There's very few of me who have this. It's that it's me and the few far between. But yes, there are also those games that everyone gets the platinum, like the Walking Dead Telltale games. Like you just play through it and you get it. But when you brought up the whole I'm just gonna play through it and then beat it, The Wolf Among Us Season 1 has collectibles in it. So you could go ahead and beat through the game and finish it and whatever, but then there are a few trophies where you have to get the collectibles in each chapter. I went back and made sure I got those. So that's something where I'm like...
It tells us something about you as a player, too. Mm-hmm. That was important for you to go back and do that. I guess to kind of get into the topic of stuff that I'm kind of... I think it's interesting on my profile, or I wouldn't necessarily say proud of, but I mean, it's stuff that's interesting. The God of War series. That's something that we're both really connected on. Is we're both huge God of War fans. And I kind of made it my mission before God of War 2018. You remember this?
Yes, I do.
I was like, I'm going to get every platinum for every God of War game, every version of God of War. And there's literally like 10 platinum.
Which you did more than I did.
Because there was there's the Vita releases and stuff like that. They have their own separate lists. I'm like, I'm going for it all. I'm going to get every God of War platinum, and I did that, and it was pretty cool. It was fun to go through that. And I really feel beyond just the platinum trophies on my account, it sort of connected me to the series more, because now I know every game inside and out. Mm-hmm. I did everything there was to do in all the games, and it really kind of connected. It made me feel like more I can enjoy the series now, because I know it so well inside and out. So that was pretty cool. A couple years ago, when I went for all the Crash games. Some of those are pretty challenging.
God!
And actually, as crazy as it is, I'm kind of redoing them in a way now because I'm doing it on Steam. Steam has achievements, so I'm actually going through the Crash trilogy again. I don't know if I'm 100% it necessarily. We'll see, but that was just kind of a really cool challenge for me to do. I guess just kind of working my way back. I mean, there's always some memorable ones on here. Even like some DLC, like I can't find it on here, but I know I did the I can't remember if I did it on PlayStation. Maybe I did it on Xbox, but because before I switched back to PlayStation, I was an achievement hunter on Xbox, and things like the Dante's Inferno DLC, which were just insanely hard. I remember actually meeting people, and that was kind of a cool thing about. Another cool thing about trophies and achievements is that it kind of connects you to other people in the community. I've made friends off of it because some people are just crazy about this. Like they get as many games as possible. It's just their full focus is on this. I'm somewhere I think in the middle where in terms of what I look at, I play games that I enjoy. I used to be someone that would just get all the I guess it was kind of an effort to sort of just kind of boost up my numbers a little bit. But I used to play more of the the kind of the spam games essentially. But now it's like the games I play I are stuff that I would actually want to play. And my rule usually is I try to go for the platinum if it's reasonable to go for like Devil May Cry. I played that earlier this year. Played for the game, but going for the platinum, it takes an insane amount of time and skill. And I was like, I want to move on to other games. I didn't feel like spending that much time in that game. But I try to go for the platinum, and if there's DLC, I go for the DLC trophies. If it's a game I really thoroughly enjoyed, it's something I really had a great experience with. If it's a game that was whatever, then I get my platinum and I move on. Like Spider-Man, for example. I got the platinum for it. I moved on. I didn't do the DLC, but you did.
Yeah, I did.
So, I mean, that's kind of my...
Actually, the only ones I'm missing is honestly the New Game Plus trophies. When they did the patch to add New Game Plus, there's 2 trophies where it's you beat it on the hardest difficulty, and then you do it in New Game Plus. So you can do it. All you do is that you just do it on the hardest difficulty, and then you do New Game Plus, which I've maxed out Spider-Man, so it shouldn't be that hard.
But I think it's fun just to even kind of go through and kind of look through. You kind of remember, like, you just going from my list. I kind of remember like really key pivotal things, even like for otherwise inane things like Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
There's one trophy in the game that was for this goofy drinking game.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking to me about this. Yeah,
it's the most frustrating like mini game I've ever played in a video game. But
what does he have to do? Like, what do you have to do?
It's just this. It's like just you have to like press buttons in a certain order and kind of like line up. It takes a lot of finesse, and it's really easy to screw it up. It was so challenging that they patched the game to make that mini game easier.
Oh, good shit.
But if you look at my profile,
but you played it before the patch.
I played it before the patch.
Good stuff, man.
So that's another kind of cool little thing that trophies can do. But yeah, it's sort of like I guess if nothing else, it serves as sort of like a play history, like a record.
Yeah, and you know what, like I remember, actually, I was just going through my trophy list myself, and I was like, what was my very first platinum?
What was your first platinum?
God of War. OG God of War. Like, it was, I remember, it was actually in 2010. Yeah, because I was playing God of War to amp myself up for God of War 3. Yep. And I was playing through I got the God of War collection. And those were my very first plats because I'm going through my list, and they're at the very, very bottom because once you play,
I think our most recent ones are probably the same. That was Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, that is my most recent plat. Yes, I have not platinum a game since.
For the record, what do you want to guess what my first platinum was?
Was it something easy? Was it one of those? It
wasn't easy. It was an easier game. I'd say it's middle of the road in terms of difficulty, but definitely an easier game. Something a franchise I enjoy.
Is it Deus Ex? No.
Not Deus Ex. Good guess.
Okay.
Think earlier, though.
Hold on. Okay.
Here's your clue.
Okay.
Think earlier. Because trophies came out around 2009 or so.
Yeah.
So it had to be a game from around that time or earlier.
Or earlier? Because, mind you, Assassin's Creed 1 has no trophy list.
Yeah, true. So it's something around-ish that time.
Okay, it's one of your favorite franchises.
I wouldn't say my favorite franchise, but a franchise
that you value.
Before,
Dishonored? Would it be Dishonored?
No. Dishonored came out much later than that.
It came out in like 2011. Okay, it isn't God of War. Is it God of War? No.
Not God of War. I'll give you one more guess. I'll tell you.
It has to go through the list.
No, I know what it is.
You know what it is. You said you were going to give me another clue.
Another clue.
It's not All-Star. It's not PlayStation All-Stars.
This will probably give it away. Survival horror.
Oh, is it freaking Silent Hill?
No.
No.
That actually came out much later too.
Jesus Christ! All right, I guess I don't know. What is it? I'm probably going to kick myself for this.
Dead Space.
Really? Yep. I wouldn't have guessed that.
First Dead Space.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Really, Dead Space. I mean, I get that makes sense, but like you hardly ever talk about Dead Space.
It's not much to really talk about anymore. It's kind of a dormant dead
franchise.
You talk about
but Silent Hill, nothing has happened. Like I'm surprised. Like you haven't really talked about Dead Space. That's why
I mean, it's. I would never say it's my favorite survival horror series. I mean, I definitely Silent Hill takes the cake over that, but it's up there. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I think it's, if nothing else, this just shows the there's a lot of value that achievements provide, even though they don't directly provide quote unquote value. Now I think one of the things we could talk about is how things could be kind of improved to some degree. I think there's been attempts to make trophies have a little bit more value. There's been times where it's been linked to the Sony rewards program, so you could actually kind of get credit and points for having platinums. There's a brief period of time where they did that, but I think really for whether it's for achievements or trophies or Steam achievements or whatever, I think this is something that's really underutilized. by developers and the hardware manufacturers. I think it's something that could really be expanded upon, and I think it's something that's important because I mean, obviously, not many, it's a small fraction of the player base that actually cares about these things or even does anything with them. But I think for those people, though, it kind of creates a sense of brand loyalty. It kind of discourages people to leave a brand in a way. Like that was actually one of the things that was kind of like a bummer for me moving from Xbox. It's like, I had like a decent amount of gamer score at the time. I'm like, I got to leave all that behind and kind of start over. And that wasn't easy to do in a way. So I think it's something that's really underutilized. I like to see, I mean, there's a lot of things they could just do with this that that would make it more valuable. Like maybe you get X, even like every 5 platinums you got like maybe like a $5 coupon for the PlayStation Store. I mean something simple like that. I mean just little things like that would really it kind of encourage a sense of like loyalty. And then while people are kind of playing for those platinums, it encourages people to it kind of gets them more invested into the ecosystem.
Well, that can only be done with like, okay, I will let you know they kind of already do that. For instance, I platinumed Days Gone because that was the most recent, well, not the most recent, but that's the most recent exclusive PlayStation exclusive plat that I have. I have not platinumed Death Stranding yet. But when you a lot of games, especially when they're promoted by PlayStation, like you got with Days Gone, I platinumed it, and then in my email it said, "Oh, congratulations! Here's an avatar and theme for yourself for getting the plat." And it's a specific They did one for Horizon Zero Dawn where it's like Aloy looking out into the horizon, but then like it's just kind of a silhouette of the platinum trophy.
And that's really cool. I kind of wish they would do that with more games.
The thing is that like they do it with their exclusives, which because they have control over that kind of stuff. That's up to the third-party publisher unless they do the partnership. So maybe they might do it for Call of Duty because of the Activision PlayStation partnership they have. I don't see that happening because Activision could give two craps, or at least that's what it seems like. But they did it with Batman. They did it with Arkham Knight because when Arkham Knight got announced, they were very much, it was like PlayStation was the one
exclusive
promoting.
Kind of partner for it. Yeah,
like they were like that. So like. Unless you do partnerships. But I do know when it comes to PlayStation exclusives, they do that. Which I think, like, again, I love avatars and themes. I'm very much that guy. So I'm like, ooh, a new theme, a new avatar? Like, even with the end of year wrap up that PlayStation did. I love it when PlayStation does these. Where it goes like, all right, this is your video game history for the year of 2019, and they did it for past years. And by doing it, you get a theme and an avatar set for this past one.
It kind of gives you, and trophies are included in that too.
It tells you what, like, how many plats you got, how many golds, how many silvers and bronzes. Like, it's great. Like that like there is incentive, but I see where you're coming from. Where you want incentive monetarily, you want more people to kind of go into the trophy space like we do. Where I believe the whole trophy hunter, achievement hunter aspect is very much part of the hardcore fan base of the specific system, whether it's PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, whatever. It's very much ingrained into the fans of that.
And I think another thing they could do, I mean, kind of to steal an idea from their competitors, with like what you see on Steam, for example, is on your profile. Not to say that Steam's achievement system is perfect or anything; it's definitely got some big flaws. But one of the cool things you can do with it is you can actually showcase your rare achievements directly on your profile. So someone pulls up my profile, they can actually see the rarest achievements I have. There's an option for me to showcase off certain achievements as well too. So it's kind of neat because it can actually kind of show you my Steam profile. So it actually shows up my rarest achievements. This is kind of a cool thing. I found like different achievements that had like letters in them and stuff like that. And you kind of make your name out and stuff like that. Just kind of cool things like that. It shows your most recent history. That's another thing Steam does that I like too, is that it shows you hours played. per game.
Okay.
Anyone can see that, so it's just kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I think the answer is kind of grabbing ideas from everywhere to make it better.
I will say something that could improve upon in for the trophy side is, especially when it comes to collectibles or doing a specific task X amount of times or doing that task for X amount of time. There's really no way you can track it. There's no way that you know how you're tracking it unless the game does it itself.
And that's a problem that's actually kind of exclusive to PlayStation, because on Xbox it does actually keep track, and also on Steam it does actually. It shows you, like, okay, let's say it says kill 50 headshots. We'll say a simple thing like that. It'll actually show you how many you have out of that total.
Yeah.
PlayStation is the only main developer or platform that doesn't have that option.
Yeah.
So definitely that's something they could add on.
Yeah, because I will say, like when games have that in game, that's nice. But if you had that part of the trophy system, so that way I could go, all right, so I need to do this one and this one, so that way I don't know, like, oh, do I need to reset something, or do I need to go back and do this or whatever.
I do like for PlayStation, I think it's for its strengths, for its system. I do like that. The concept of a platinum trophy. Steam sort of has something like that, but not quite really. I do like the idea that you get a special kind of thing, signifying that you completed a game 100%.
Yep.
I like the idea that there's an overall level that you can build up. You have your trophy level that PlayStation's kind of unique for that. It's not just some raw number. It's actually a level you can kind of go up with.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool there. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's definitely something that I know it's something that a lot of people just don't care about, but I mean, there is a very active minority of players that were involved in
Yeah, and there's websites. There's websites, and one of our favorite YouTubers is PS4 Trophies, or PS Trophies, who is he's the guy that I go to first. First, if if I'm playing a game, I'm like, all right, how do I get this trophy or whatever? And he sometimes does road maps or whatever. And then if he doesn't have one, then I go to Power Picks. That's another
that's a good
YouTube
website.
that I go to.
I think one thing that all three of the main platforms, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, need to do a better job on is kind of clamping down on these. We'll call them achievement spam games or trophy spam games, where you can just get really easy platforms.
Yep.
And I mean, all three platforms are guilty of having those type of games, but I think it's something that they need to kind of clamp down on to some degree.
No, I agree.
It sort of ruins the fun of it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, we both played plenty of those games. I mean, just for full disclosure,
I've played the like Iron Man 1 and 2 and Captain America and Thor, and
I make an effort to avoid those now, for at least for like my trophies.
Yeah.
It's just because they sort of.
I played the Harry Potter games, and those I platted, but that's because I wanted to, not because of like, I didn't plat them to plat them. I wanted to plat because I enjoyed those games, including Deathly Hallows Part 2.
For sound shapes, going back to that game, I'm looking at my list here.
Yeah.
I think that was 50-50. I actually I was surprised by the game. I actually did have some fun with it. But it was kind of a weird game because you plat it once and you actually can get 6 plats for it. So it's kind of a weird, unique case. But yeah, no, it's just, I think it's just, if nothing else, the value it has, you can go back and kind of remember and kind of chart your history for this, and I think that's cool. That has some value. I hope it's something that they continue to develop and utilize and try to improve. I hope one day Nintendo kind of gets on board with it too. That'd be cool if they had their own kind of unique spin on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
probably one last thing is that I wish trophies would there have been lists, like a lot of the PlayStation exclusive lists especially have been very good. Like God of War's plat was difficult, but you can do it. Days Gone was also a plat that you could do. Marvel Spider-Man was pretty easy. Horizon Zero Dawn you could also plat pretty easily. But there has been a problem when it comes to trophy lists. I've been seeing trophy lists where I'm like, what? I have to do this? How? That's not even about how? Or it's just it's so ungodly long grinding that you have to do. That like
there definitely are some games that are guilty of really making some asinine trophies that are just not really fun to do.
No.
I mean, I think I'm not opposed to the idea of like missable trophies and things like that in games. You know, I mean, it can be kind of cumbersome to, you know, like trophies that you can miss, like you might have to go through and do another playthrough for. Those can get a little annoying because you have to kind of keep track of those in the back of your mind. But I'm kind of okay with those. I think my pet peeve trophies are kind of those stupidly long, grindy ones.
Yeah.
I know you've kind of cast some shade at multiplayer trophies in the past, but I'm okay with them. But the problem with multiplayer...
Make them accessible. Don't make me have to go ahead. I remember, I think it was in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or whatever, but like, you had to... What was it? You had to gain the lead within 10 seconds and keep it. Or you had to do, like, it's very, very specific on how you do it. And honestly, the only way you do that is that, like, you need to gather a crew and, like, all right, I'm trying to get this trophy. Can you all
kind of boost it?
Exactly. You have to do trophy boosting. Like, I'm like, no, just like, probably honestly, God of War Ascension had just, it was like, hey, do the tutorial trophy and then play a multiplayer match. Done.
I think I have a better solution for that. I think some games have actually done this pretty well. Surprisingly, a game that otherwise I wouldn't really praise too much, Mass Effect 3, actually did this really well. It has multiplayer trophies in it, but it has an or option on it. So it's like something like kill X amount of people in multiplayer or do this thing in single player.
Yeah!
So I think that's kind of a good option. And what that does is it sort of future-proofs the game because eventually all games, with few exceptions, the multiplayer kind of dies.
Yeah, like which Uncharted, like you can't, like if you like for me, my brother called me. He's like, dude, the multiplayer for Uncharted 2 and 3 on the PS3 is gonna go out.
Oh yeah, or eventually they'll just completely remove it. The servers will shut down. So it's nice to have options to have like an alternative essentially to that. So because that's not fun. Because then you're always kind of thinking in the back of your mind like, oh, should I go through and play this game right now? Because maybe they'll shut the servers down, or it's just kind of like, I mean, it's kind of annoying, you know.
Yeah.
Or there's nothing more annoying that you have a game that you really want to play and go through, but you can't actually get the platinum now.
Yeah, because the servers are gone.
The servers are gone.
It's not even possible. Like, and that's why, like, with the remastery, like for instance, I'm so happy I have the plat for the Ezio trilogy, but I only have it on the PS4 because I don't have on the PS4 version there is no multiplayer, it's just the single player stuff, which honestly that's what I played. I played the multiplayer for Brotherhood and Revelations for a bit on the PS3, but it was
that's another solution. Is to, I mean, sometimes they just got the multiplayer out of it, but I think the best way is kind of that Mass Effect style where it's sort of future proof. I mean, you can play the multiplayer and get the trophies the way that they kind of intended, or if years later when the multiplayer is 100% dead or the servers are down, you can at least still go back and do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's the best solution to multiplayer trophies. I wish more developers would actually take advantage of that.
No, but also make them accessible, make them challenging, but don't make them ungodly hard. I do agree with the whole like you can either do it in multiplayer or single player, which is great. But there's been other like trophies, regardless if it's multiplayer or single player, where it's just it's even in single player games. I'm just like, I have to do that? Oh, God dang it. Like, how? How did that, what? Like, there have been trophies where I'm like, I'm going to have to do this for, like, ever in order for me to do it.
Like super grindy stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not fun to do. It's like, sometimes it becomes really, like, over the top of it, too. But I think another thing I wish we would see more of is more... I wish the developers would be a little bit more creative with trophies and achievements. And there's some examples I can think of. Like one that jumps out to me was in Red Dead Redemption 1. There's this goofy achievement called Dastardly, where you have to basically tie up a woman and put her on a train track, kind of like an old villain type of thing. It's such a goofy, weird achievement that you would never do normally, but it was just like a chuckle moment. Like when I did it, and like you have to watch her get run over by a train. It's kind of goofy, but it's just like that. That's fun. That was kind of creative of them to do that and to put that into the game, and that's where trophies really I think add value. Is like, that's something I normally probably wouldn't even have thought of doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, that was just kind of a cool chuckle moment.
Yeah.
I think my friends I was watching at the time was just laughing out loud. It was hilarious. Just so I wish developers would just be thinking more outside the box. Like, what was there was like going back to like Left 4 Dead, there was like a gnome achievement where you have to carry the gnome for the whole game. Just cool stuff like that you normally wouldn't think of ever doing.
Yeah.
But I wish there would be a little bit more creativity. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just something that kind of gets lost. And as there's so many other priorities when you're developing a game. It's like, who cares about achievements, right?
Yeah.
Just slap some in there and we'll move on with our lives. But just take that. I wish more developers just take that extra time to do that.
Yeah, and it feels like with PlayStation, when they, at least with their exclusives, it feels like that when they're making their trophy list, that they're going like, okay, how can we do this? And of course you get your story trophies and you get collectible trophies, but then there's the do this thing, do that thing, do this challenge, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Make it challenging, but make sure that it's obtainable. Make sure, like, I'm not a fan of, like, I don't mind it if there are platinums for games like the Telltale games. I actually enjoy those. And that can actually get someone like, oh my god, I got a platinum for Telltale? I might want to go for more platinums. Like, it's kind of like something where, like, for me, I got God of War. I was like, oh my god, I love doing that. I want to get more plats. It was just something like that.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea of really over-the-top challenging platinums, because, I mean, it gives something for some people, like, because there's all different types of, within the trophy hunting group, there's all different types.
I don't mind if it's challenging. Make it obtainable. Not just, like, trophy boosting, maybe, but, like, don't go ahead and make it be like, all right, we got to do this ridiculously hard thing X amount of times. Like, it's I don't know.
It's a little. Yeah, they can be asinine sometimes. Like, and that's the reason I skipped the Devil May Cry 5 Platinum, is because, my God, you have to do like this crazy stuff. You literally have to go for the game on like the highest difficulty and not get hit. It's crazy. I mean, you have to be like so like in the game to do that and have played for it so many times to have that skill level with it. That's like, I'm not interested in doing that. It's like, but I mean, I think it's okay that a game can have that.
But for Devil May Cry, that makes sense. There's that community that speed runs through Devil May Cry and goes like, I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to be this good. Because that's what it's based on.
Yeah, and like I said, within the trophy group, there's people that are super hardcore and they like to go for like the really hard platinums. There's people that go for just as many platinums as I can possibly have, or there's people like us kind of somewhere in the middle that we play for the games we like, we go for the platinum, but we're not overly concerned about, I got to get to this number, or I'm trying to have a higher number than my friends. Like, I think right now I'm at 96 platinums. So
you're definitely beating me. I'm like 76, 75.
But for me, it's not a competition. It'd be a goofy thing to have a competition
75.
over.
I got 75 points.
So I mean, it'll be kind of cool like when I get to 100. But I mean, for me, it's not about beating other players. I don't see it as a competitive thing. It's more of a personal.
Yeah.
Like, this is something I'm trying to go through.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I think that's what we can improve upon trophies. Like some of my favorite platinums, I've gone like again. I've actually platinumed multiple games. I've platinumed God of War multiple times. I've platinumed Darksiders multiple times. That was a chore. I loved it because I was like, I want to make sure I have every Darksiders plat. I want to make sure I have that. So I re-platinumed Darksiders War Mastered and Definitive Edition on the PS4, so that way when Darksiders 3 came out, I'm like, I want to platinum this one too, and I did.
And it kind of shows, like I say, that's kind of it's a special thing for you. Then that's where the value kind of comes in. It's like because you care about that franchise so much that you want to get all the platinums. And when someone's looking at your profile too, they can kind of say, wow, this guy really loves Darksiders. He's got every platinum for it. Just like when they look at mine, it's like, well, he did. He has 10 God of War platinums. And it's like, and I actually had people message me and like, why is God of War on your list twice? I'm like, well, there's two different versions of it, So it's it's just a cool thing. I mean, we both totally acknowledge that. I mean, they don't have any value, but then again, gaming itself, I mean, it's like what value? It's for entertainment. It's for fun. It's not everything has to be productive. I think you can make an argument it is productive because it's entertaining. Is that what life is kind of all about? Is enjoy your life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we made a job about it, and that means this is what we do.
Sure, yeah, exactly. So It's I mean, I think there is value in it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I guess I wish I just would I don't think achievements or trophies have really significantly evolved too much since their inception. We haven't really seen much done with them. I like just we're starting a whole new decade now, new systems coming out. Like I'd like to see them actually try to do something unique with them or to evolve them in some meaningful way. Because really, I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, Xbox achievements, they're kind of the same as they were when they first came out. PlayStation trophies, basically the same thing as when they first came out, like in 2009. So we haven't really seen much done with them. It's been over 10 years since these systems have come out. Yeah. So it's like, let's evolve a little bit,
Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, we definitely like trophies. Yeah.
Very much.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let us know what you guys think. If you like trophies, if you like hunting for trophies, what have been some of your favorite platinums or just favorite trophies in general? We would love to hear what you guys think. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and go ahead and press that like button. Press the thumbs up. Go ahead, do the thumbs up, man. Do it, Spectre.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
You got me.
Do it. All right. Yeah. Because if you like this video, more people will see it. Because then we'll go ahead and have...
Click the bell icon.
Yeah, that way. Yeah,
icon.
there you go. See, look at you. Look at you already doing my
Promoting
job.
us, yeah.
There you go. Press the bell icon. That way, whenever we put up a video, we put up a video. Yeah.
We have a Steam group now.
Well, we do.
We do.
Okay.
You have to join it, though.
I have to join it now.
So,
okay. Well, then what is it?
Brotherhood of Geeks.
Oh, hey! It's just you go on Steam and you just
type that in. You'll find it pretty quickly. You'll see the same logo that I actually use the same logo that we have everywhere else. So
great, awesome, great.
It's all ready to join.
Love it, great, awesome.
You should join.
Yes, I definitely will, and you should join. But also you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Brotherhood of Geeks, where we go ahead and put up posts, that kind of stuff. You can also follow us on Twitter at Dualshock'd BOG. That's the name of our PlayStation podcast, Dualshock'd BOG. Tweeting, stuff like that. And then you can also follow us on Twitch when we stream at twitch.tv/Brotherhood of Geeks. Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it.
No. Okay. It's great. Awesome. I'm like, it's February. We're
ready for some news.
We're so close for that. Just come on. Just come on to me. But yeah, just need it. But yeah, anyway, so I think that's it. Yeah, all right, there we go. All right, I'm Brett J. Rasmussen.
I'm Spectre.
And as always, live to play together. We'll see you guys next time.